Hey guys, Serbo Dodger here. Welcome to this video, which is part of a series of my live stream of Pillars of Eternity. It's there for anybody who isn't able to catch the live shows or maybe has missed one and wants to catch up before the next one. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please drop me a subscribe and don't forget to check it out live on twitch.tv/Serbo Dodger. Here we are of my playthrough of Pillars of Eternity. Just to give you some explanation, I have played this game before, but only like for 6 hours or so. I've never really progressed further than like the first town, villagey kind of place. I love this kind of game. I don't know, like the reason that I never really finished it is because I was keen to do so live. As soon as I realised I needed a better PC, everything got put on the back burner. We're there now. We're going to start with the Adventures of Rag. So I've looked into loads of different classes that I feel like I want to play. We're going to go for it. Do we go for that? I'm not really an Infinity veteran, but I will be when I played this.
Ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern, his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Everyone's favourite character creation. So, like I say, I have a rough idea of who I actually want to be in this game. I'm gonna go human. Call me crazy. That's what I feel like doing. So we can kind of roleplay and imagine that we are this little guy. And we're going for the druid. We're going for the druid. All druids have mastered one animalistic form. These forms give the druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the druid is shifted. Ooh, what could the power be? Druids are really cool in this game. From what I've been able to understand, they have a really excellent set of spells. A lot of AoE spells and things like that, so they're a really good class in that respect. Lore, well, we'll get to this in a bit. So they have quite low endurance, low health, average deflection, very low accuracy. Why would we choose them? Because they're badass. So we need to choose which animal form we want. Now, obviously, you always go for the bear. It's got a terrifying roar, it's got really good damage reduction, which is great. The boar spirit shift regenerates lost endurance and inflicts damage over time with its melee attacks. Sounds cool, and again, like, it'd be pretty interesting to choose something that you wouldn't always go for, which is why I was thinking maybe don't go for the bear, even though it's probably the best, because bears are the best ever, aren't they, in everything, basically. So, yeah, cat shift, fast attack, converts into even faster attacks, so maybe it's good to sort of up the DPS and finish somebody off. If needs be, maybe. Not sure about that. The stag sounds really cool, but can attack groups of enemies, but has higher defenses. So I like the idea of having higher defenses, but attacking groups of enemies, as far as I'm concerned, is turd. And then the spirit shift wolf moves quickly, and has an attack that can knock people prone. So I'm quite tempted by the idea of the boar, because little known fact, the boar is actually the symbol of my actual real life family surname. So I'm thinking boar or stag, to be honest. Regenerating lost endurance is useful. Higher defenses is useful too. So I guess it comes down to which of the attacks I think is better, and I think that slightly the boar. So let's just go for the boar. We've said it now. So highly recommended for druid is the might, obviously because we get damage and healing and fortitude from that. That makes a lot of sense. So let's jam a load of points in that. Constitution, no recommendations. Dexterity the same. Perception the same. Intellect, area of effect, duration, and will, obviously incredibly important. So let's jam a load of points into that. And then resolve, which is concentration, deflection, and will. Concentration, how likely we are to get interrupted. So obviously that's something that we really, really want to make sure is nice and high. Deflection, obviously basically the most important defense stat in terms of melee. And will, your defense against magic spells and things like that, as is my loose understanding. So at the very least I want to jam a couple of points into that. Now I'm hoping that we're going to find items during the playthrough that allow us to, you know, boost these stats a bit better. Let's find out. So we need to decide now which background we want. Now this one just sounds really cool for a druid. If we look into it, Living Lands is the mountainous region of a large northern island renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races in a variety of colonial and independent settlements. So that sounds great. Plus, we get the boost to might, which takes our might to 18, which is going to be really, really good for us. We now need to choose a culture, and this is where things get slightly different. You would expect that you'd want lore for a druid and survival in terms of like a role-playing aesthetic. I'm not a fan of lore. I think it's the pros of lore is that during the conversations and during those kinds of things it's great, because your character just knows more stuff about the world, and so that's really useful to have as a skill. It gets you a lot further in certain dialogue interactions. But as a practical skill during the game, it lets you use scrolls, and I just forget about scrolls in any game. Like I just never ever use scrolls. My house in Skyrim is just, there's just chests full of scrolls that I'm never going to use, never going to cast, and can't sell because they're worth too much. So scrolls, I'm just probably not going to invest much in. Survival is really useful, but you have to start investing quite a lot into it if you want to experiment with the different benefits of it as a skill. And I don't know how much I want to invest into it, really, when I think that my preferred skill in this game overall is athletics. I think it lets you do a lot of cool interactions in the game world, and obviously you're recovering lost endurance. So it really feels like a good one to go for. So I'm actually going to look for, if there's an athletics and a survival, I'm going to bounce on that. And there's not. So there's an athletics and a mechanics. Not sure about that. Not really much use to me. Well, there's a survival +2. If we take that now, on our first level up, we'll just throw everything into athletics, is what I'm thinking might be an option. Mechanics is going to be a largely wasted skill on us because we'll probably create a rogue at some point to join the party. So, let's go for it. Let's go for the colonist. Now then, I have played with these a little bit. I think I know exactly what I want to go for. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is pretty druidic. We could change the colour of the hair. Old man druid. But without the face changing to reflect the sudden aging process, he just looks odd.
Yes, follow me.
Follow me, because I am a druid. Sounds,
Let's go.
It's so Batman.
Nice and slow. Yeah, follow me. Let's go. Steady does it.
But we're gonna go for it because the others, like, I don't know why this is like in a fantasy game. You get the choice of, okay, well, you can sound ridiculous or you can sound ridiculous. Listen.
Yeah, leading the way. Onward.
What's that?
To whispers and shadows. I'm here. Now I am the leader of the group.
Ridiculous.
Ha!
Ridiculous.
Keeping an eye out.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Leading the way.
Ridiculous.
Death to our enemies!
Ridiculous. So,
Nice and slow.
go for that one. Obviously, as this is the Adventures of Rag, this is Rag. Let's adventure on. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red moustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods toward a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind the... Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day.
And the last thing we wanted was rumbling rot.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
He nods in our direction. Sparful nods and slides the worn bow over his shoulder. So, let's get a little bit of background before we just go diving straight in. Where would what are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
So what are these huge rocks coming up out of the
You know
ground?
about Adra, where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories.
I do.
It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
Let's go and get these berries then.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travellers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armour-clad woman who has spent the journey's night sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow. And hey, I just heard the notification sound for... Oh, hey! Sir Mini Cheddar 123. welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for the kind follow. I think that the notifications look like they're really badly skew, so let's just quickly fix that, because that looks like it didn't even come on the screen at all, which we don't want. I'm so sorry, guys. I won't be a second. Let's just move that over there like that. Hopefully that should work. It kind of works. It kind of works. We have a game to play, guys. That's the important thing here. Let's just jump back in. Sorry about that.
Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time.
He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Bewick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Campfire banter. That was nice.
Man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Alright, let's get going indeed. So, nice little touch. We are actually suffering stat debuffs because of our illness. So,
Yeah.
like I say, there's certain bits that I do already know about the game. We'll just get rid of some of these tutorials though.
Yeah.
Oops. So, let's head over here.
Anyone need supplies? I've got sundries for sale.
Let's see what Hayden has to offer. You see a man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles. It's covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
Yes! Okay, let's see what we got here. Well, I mean, we have beginning of adventure gold, so we're not gonna have a lot. No, you know what? Like, no, I don't want anything. Leave me alone. Which is quite rude, but sometimes in life. So we have this ring. I don't know why I have these things. I didn't pre-order the game, but I got this ring, which grants us the ability to, like, basically go nuts. See if I can tell you that. Yeah, plus 15 endurance. It's insane. Don't know why I got it. And also, we have this, which I think you guys are going to enjoy. This tiny Titanic pig has an otherworldly appearance that seems to be at odds with its endearing behaviour. It follows you dutifully and requires nothing in return, save companionship. It's such a cute description, so certainly for the time being, we'll have him out. There it is. It totally ruins any drama, any level of scariness in the world, but it does look cool. So let me know what you think about that. Does the pig stay as a valued member of our group, or do we put him back in the bag? Exploration is key in this game, so there. Let's see what this chat
I'll have
knows.
your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
Certainly isn't. I'll be streaming all day. Boom, there it is. Sparfel sets them up and I knock them down.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
Let's see what we got. Okay, so young wolf. Obviously it's not really a big deal. Okay, I think we need to change those combats. Let's go for it. Yeah. Oh, okay, so it's a big boar in the sense of a big standing boar. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, for anyone who's joined us since we did character creation, I explained that I intended not to choose, like, the obvious big, great lumbering bear, because that's really cool and tough. And we went for boar because it's actually the symbol of my family crest in real life, obviously. Not, like, role-playing to a really weird extent there. Let's just quickly get rid of those auto pause things. Enemy spotted. No, but let's. Yeah, sorry. Yes for enemy spotted, but not for combat start, I think. And let's see how we find that.
This is it.
There we go. Adema said you were some kind of colonist before coming here. If that's the case, you'll fit right in. Whole country's a bunch of colonists. You like frontier life or what? It wasn't by choice. I was fleeing persecution. Yeah? How is it you happened to come here? The place I ended up was just as bad as the place I left. Another dead end. I know what that feels like. You really can't trust anyone, can you? Kaliska breathed in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer makes a girl think, I'll give him that. You here to settle, like the rest of the lot? No, I'm just passing through. That's usually the case with big cities just a little ways further up the same road. Where you headed? Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Completely spontaneous, huh? Interesting. Well, there's probably no hurry to make up your mind. They've got an inn in Gilded Vale that'll put you up as long as you need, or so my sister tells me. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odema will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. Alright, let's get back to camp and the adventure. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfle's getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like when he feels like it. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get you your water. We will do more character interaction at a later point, but I think it's important just to like get things going for now. So anyone again who missed the introduction video, the basic plot premise, if you've not played the game before, right now we're on the way to Gilded Vale. There's an offer, like the Count or the Lord of Gilded Vale has put out, offering people accommodation and stuff. So obviously we're checking that out. It is essentially where we're at right now. Doesn't sound like gripping stuff, but I think you know shit's gonna go down. Look at that pig. Well, one thing's for sure, if we're keeping the pig, he has to be named. So, if anyone wants to come up with a decent suggestion for the pig, if we're keeping him. Although, obviously, once we name it, there's going to be a bond, isn't there? So, you have to be careful. Only name it if you're sure you want to keep it. But if you do, what name do you think it should have? What should we call our little space pig? See, I'd rather have that deer. That looked cool, didn't it? Come back. Ah, it's gone forever. Travelers, maybe, or looters, or bandits. Bad sign anywhere you figure it. That is true. But let's just loot the corpse. The corpse is cold to the touch, and a ripe smell wafts from it in putrid waves. Let's get that back. A dark crusted bloodstain besmirches its simple linen clothing.
Went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
So, let's pick up the water skin. You crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Kaliska waits nearby, keeping watch. As you rise, you notice her look up sharply towards the tree line. Gained an item. Continue. Out of the trees emerges Sparfle, one of the guides. Barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait. His stride wobbly as he moves towards you with laboured breath.
Sparfle? Are you alright?
Sparfle's toe catches on a rock, and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag.
ambush.
Oh yes, I will. Okay, so now we're gonna play this battle properly. I'm gonna send her in for that move on him. Hold on, why is that not working? Why is that not working? Am I stupid?
What you need?
Well, actually, we'll do it. Yeah. Now, meanwhile, we do have these spells. Now it's twice per rest initially. So honestly, I'm just gonna leather him as the boar. Because look at the state of that. What's the boar's ability again? Once per encounter. Oh. Look at his tail. He looks more like a rat. Rag the boar rat
We
boar.
have to get back to camp.
Man, druid. Oh, it regenerates lost endurance as it inflicts. Oh, inflicts damage over time with its melee. That's actually pretty good, I think. Sold. We'll equip that as well. Oh yes, we will. Wasn't there something over there to loot? Yeah, there was. Nothing gets past Rags' beady eyes. Right, back to the camp for drama's sake. Although, didn't we just find that, which I think I'd rather equip? Yeah, druid me up. Druid me up. Let's do this. You hear the faint sounds of battle ahead. Let's do this. So, because we have quite low, I think, perception, we're missing a significant amount of these attacks. So that could be an issue. We're obviously not going to be a predominantly melee fighter as the game progresses. And we're going to get some amazing spells and the ability to use those spells much, much more frequently. But as it stands currently, that might actually be a major, major shortcoming of ours. We might need to look into that. Maybe the answer is just us sliding using much more accurate weapons. Maybe if that's even a thing. Okay, well, for now, we press on. We do have the shield, obviously, which is going to buy us some time in fights. Glanfathan leader. All around us lie the massacred remains of the other travellers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Kaliska puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as if to ward away some poisonous vapour. A handful of dark figures stands above the fallen, treading on limbs and backs and heads, jerking their axes from bodies as if from half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe with a thick beard tasseled with knots, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man you recognise as Hayden, the last of your caravan left standing. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life for a fight you will lose. Well, we might as well use this, since we were forced into taking it. The ruin has not been sullied by our hands, men of Air Glenfath. We now have one rank in a disposition rate. Yeah, essentially, there's reputation systems in this game. Your words carry no weight when I have seen the truth with my own eyes. Blood must be paid for this intrusion. So I say again, lay down your arms. Don't trust them, they mean to kill us all. Well. You know what? Let's not even worry about talking these guys down. Only a fool attacks a weak enemy while a stronger one yet lives. The man considers this. Looking you up and down. Yet. He shoves Hayden towards you. As he does so, the man rakes his blade against Hayden's torso. Hayden screams and stumbles forward, a wide gash in his clothing beginning to bloom crimson. The man sets his feet to engage you, his axe raised high. And with that, Hayden actually does have abilities though. We can totally use him in this combat encounter, so we'll do so. We'll let the battle begin like that, and then as it does so, I've not even checked about any of these spells, so let's find a cool one to use. What's that one? No, Tanglefoot, that sounds... blinding those caught... Oh, burning and potentially blinding those caught in the area of effect. Yes, I will. Yeah, that didn't take long, did it? Your enemies lie supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companions now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above you. Forgive us. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. At this, the man's eyes roll back as he closes them. Good, good. The gods are just. A queer smile crosses his face. I am ready. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the camp, electric and volatile, upending posts and rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin, and where it pierces you, it feels as though it is rending you apart from within. Seated against a wagon wheel, a massive biscuit, amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across chest and bowel, Odema's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you, which would look like this.
Get inside! Run!
Oh hey, DZZ8409, thanks very much for that. Yeah, I never actually thought of that. We can obviously respec any stats that we're not happy with. Maybe we should. Do you think that I've overpowered some stats, maybe? Like maybe I've jammed too much into might for this class? Yeah, let me know what you think. That's a great point though, I hadn't thought of that. Straining against a gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step. You set your hands in the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up the precipice. With a last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up onto the ledge. Hayden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers who had been feigning death lunges for Hayden and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Hayden lashes out against his fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. They are close to you. Despite the wind, from your position, if you were to throw your weapon at the attacker, you would have a good chance at hitting your mark. Let's absolutely throw a weapon. Throw a weapon at anyone. That's advice number one. Always throw a weapon. In any game, certainly. Real life, you know, make your own decisions. Your aim is true, and the hit jars Hayden loose. Lurching to his feet, Hayden clambers up the base of the rocks. As he nears the top, however, the wind flares, pulling him sideways and tearing one of his hands free. But diving out onto the hard rock, you manage to catch hold of it. Securing his other hand, you pull with waning strength, and it feels as though your arms will be jerked from their sockets. They hold just long enough for Hayden to set his feet and join you on the trembling ledge. There is a deep resonance to the swelling wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet, and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new gust menaces the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight.
Was that?
A Buick. Had to be.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside. Can you walk?
Hinge Jaw Titans. He nods. Thanks very much for watching, guys. That's the end of this episode, but there are plenty more on the way. Don't forget to hit subscribe to catch the next one, or head over to twitch.tv/SerboDodger to find it live. Thanks a lot.